It is called channeling, where the physical body is only the vehicle. The vocal cords resound with non-physical voices. The phenomenon is widespread. There are thousands of channelers in North America alone, and millions of adherents come from all walks of life, seeking the wisdom of the so-called spirit guides. Who are these voices? Extraterrestrials? Ascended masters? Highly evolved spirit beings? These are just some of their claims.
It will laugh. It will laugh.
The practice itself is difficult for any of us to accept at face value. Is the supernatural interacting with the natural? Are spirits really in contact with humans? If so, who are the voices making the claims and providing the information?
With the Edgar Cayce style, deep trance style, there came through a group of guides, numbering in the thousands, several thousands, and in time they gave their name and they call themselves Starfleet.
They have told me that they are extraterrestrial intelligences from another star system. I guess is the closest thing you could say, and yet they're also multidimensional beings. Even though they do have physical forms, they're not quite the same as ours are. And there are others too that I've seen that are extraterrestrial, that look different from them, but they seem to work together.
Another channeler, Pat Rodegast, channels a spirit called Emmanuel. In her book simply called Emmanuel's Book, Rodegast describes her first encounter. The first time I saw Emmanuel, he appeared as he still does, as a being of golden light. Steve White channels a group of entities who take on yet a different form.
I channel several different beings. There are beings that are termed the spiritual hierarchy and the Ashtar Command. All of a sudden everybody goes, ooh, the Ashtar Command, UFOs and stuff. But the Ashtar Command, they're etheric beings. They're not in a physical embodiment like we have. And as one evolves from, let's say, the third dimensional plane to others, they can choose different aspects of service. And the Ashtar Command are ascended masters who have chosen to be in service to different planets going through transition.
Adheron's about 8 feet tall. He's slim, but very powerful. His main emanation seems to be in the blue range, the blues, the violets, the purples. Actually, I called him Blue for many years because I couldn't hear his name. Even Adheron is only a very small portion of his real name, because their names are comprised of all their experience and all their knowledge. And we just don't have the vocal cords or the comprehension to be able to say their whole name. So they've given me little bits of their names.
The expertless experts.
Jacques Purcell is internationally renowned. He channels Lazarus, a non-physical entity whose teachings have influenced the lives of thousands of people through public lectures, video and audio tapes, and personal consultation.
Who is he? That's a good question. He's never been physical, and he's never had a body form. That disturbs some people because they assume because I'm physical and because you're physical, everybody in the universe has been physical and have all been here on Earth or whatever. We're starting to accept the idea that maybe there are life forms that are other than on Earth, and maybe eventually we can accept the idea that there are life forms that don't have bodies either. He's one of those. He refers to himself as a consciousness, an intelligence, a spark of love, a spark of light without form. And that's probably the best description of what he is. Who he is just this incredible loving energy that seems to be here to not save us and not do for us, but to befriend us and help us do for ourselves. It's nothing mysterious. I don't know if it would work for everybody, you know, but it seems to work for me, and that is I climb down a ladder. I just close my eyes and start visualizing myself climbing down a ladder, and when I get to the bottom rung, I sort of spiral backwards. I kind of just dive backwards, and then each circle gets bigger and bigger, a little slower and slower, and eventually I just kind of drift off, and the next thing I know, I open my eyes, and it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours later, and I know something must have happened because I always feel good afterwards. So that's how I do it, and yeah, I've done it now for as many as 10 or 12 times a day, or once a day at least, for 13 years now.
I relax, and I developed my own relaxation technique, which everyone would find for themselves to be unique. I relax, I raise my vibrational frequency by bringing my thoughts to thankfulness and joy and love and such higher thought form frequencies, as well as I visualize moving into a lighter and more refined vibration of existence. It's so I imagine light and refined feeling. And from there, I connect with my source, and this source I allow to blend with my energy. Of course, I'm familiar with this source, and I feel like I fill up with golden light. I feel like I'm filling up with golden light, and it's grounded right down to my feet, and they just start speaking from there. They speak through me. I step aside. And because I step aside, that is why I go into a trance state.
I just step aside. I just get out of the way. And it's possible that like a main portion of my energy body steps aside, leaving the portion that keeps the heart going and the lungs going and everything there. And then that part of Adherent, or whoever is speaking, will come in and utilize my form.
That area of the spiritual realm that reach down to humankind, call them angelic being, extraterrestrials, whatever, that reach down, they are available for us to channel from, to reach, to help guide our lives, to help us make this a better place so that we are more about the divine plan down here, the plan that was originally brought into being when life was brought about. And you can reach that realm and be guided to them by meditating.
There was a natural talent who didn't really know anything about me except I was a psychic. She doesn't know anything about channeling, she doesn't know from extraterrestrials, and at some point we were kind of like doing a meditation together, and suddenly she looked at me and she said, "You seem to have a veil all around you." And she continued looking. She says, "No, it's not a veil. It's like a shower of light." And she starts looking up, and she goes, "Oh my God." I say, "What do you see?" She proceeded to describe the three to me. Says it's like they're in some sort of spaceship, but of course it's not a spaceship. She didn't want to, I'm sure, appear that she was like seeing things. And she says there's these three beings. Each of them have a different thing they're supposed to do, but they do it together. And she's just looking up. And she says, and they seem to be different colors. Now, she didn't know anything about this, about me.